Hi guys, and welcome to Pirate Hunter Trophy. Hawkeye's Mihawk holds the title of strongest swordsman in the world and is one of One Piece's most powerful warriors. He is represented as being at least as powerful as Red Hair Shanks, if not more so. With that statement, you already know that we will check out who is the strongest and who has more power between Mihawk and Shanks. Want to find out who wins this contest? Stay tuned for the entire video so as to not miss a detail. Shanks and Mihawk are real rivals. Dracule Mihawk, a strong swordsman and Haki master, is a man of the same stature as Shanks. There is a well-known strength competition between the two. They are portrayed as equals as a result. Mihawk is hinted to be even more powerful than Shanks, the world's greatest swordsman, which is a remarkable accomplishment given that the latter is powerful enough to terrify Admiral Ryokugyu and engage in combat with Whitebeard. Shanks and Mihawk frequently engaged in combat. Even Whitebeard, the world's strongest man and a competitor of the Pirate King, agreed that their fierce fights had become legendary throughout the entire Grand Line. As One Piece magazine recently revealed, the competition between Shanks and Mihawk is comparable to that between Gold D. Roger and Whitebeard. Like them, Shanks and Mihawk get along despite having very different personalities when they aren't engaged in battle. Although more or less as powerful as their contemporaries, Mihawk and Whitebeard hold the title of strongest in the world. Roger and Shanks were crowned Pirate King and Emperor, respectively. They could have done it if their competitors had wanted it, but they needed to be more motivated. Shanks is better than Mihawk, but even with the whole strongest title thing, some fans still claim Shanks is better than Mihawk, and this is why. Conqueror's Haki. Shanks' possession of the Conqueror's Haki is unquestionably his biggest edge over Mihawk at the moment in One Piece. Also, it is repeatedly indicated that his Conqueror's Haki is among the strongest in the series, if not the only one. With the significance given to Conqueror's Haki during the Wano arc, it is obvious that Shanks has a significant advantage in this discussion. Shanks prevails in this category despite Mihawk possibly possessing Conqueror's Haki, which has yet to be mentioned in the series. Former Roger Pirate. Shanks was also raised on the crew as a former Roger Pirate. Therefore, he was born into the pirate culture and learned to be a pirate early on. As a result, he has participated in numerous fights, witnessed many natural wonders, and even learned along the way about the titular treasure and the world's real history. Even with one arm gone, this experience has undoubtedly helped him become one of One Piece's most impressive warriors. It is safe to assume that his lifelong engagement in piracy offers him an advantage over his companion in their conflict. Current Yonko. Although Mihawk was a Shichibukai, Shanks' achievement of the title of Yonko would suggest that he was more powerful than the greatest swordsman in the entire globe. As the Wano arc demonstrated, such a disparity in titles is by no means conclusive of outcome. More on that later, but it can be a vital sign of character. The strength of his crew is another factor, as is what says about him as a Yonko for being the one to guide such strong men. Ben Beckman's ability to defeat an admiral during One Piece has already been hinted at, which suggests Shanks is at a much higher level than that. But even so, Mihawk defeated each of his rivals one by one until he was crowned the strongest swordsman. No one was off-limits in his goal to conquer the realm of swordsmanship, as evidenced by his previous moniker of Marine Hunter. Shanks was unable to defeat him. According to the One Piece Vived card databook, Mihawk is awaiting an adversary who is even more powerful than himself because Shanks lost an arm. Roronoa Zoro is most likely that individual. Even if Zoro is powerful enough to defeat an emperor's right-hand man, he still needs to develop more to catch up to Mihawk. This highlights the fabled Hawkeye's strength. The Warlords of the Sea were originally introduced with Mihawk. Recently, Mihawk and Crocodile co-founded Cross Guild, a brand new organization that alarmed the One Piece community. Buggy, the group's purported leader, was promoted to Emperor, suggesting that Cross Guild has the same strength and influence as a Yonko crew. Mihawk and Crocodile are the group's genuine founders and leaders. Mihawk, who had no interest in becoming a Yonko, decided to make Buggy the face of the Cross Guild to deflect any unwelcome attention from himself. After buying into the facade, the world government designated Buggy as one of the 4 emperors. Objectively speaking, Mihawk's presence, who is at least as powerful as many emperors, is the only thing that makes Cross Guild comparable to a Yonko crew. Mihawk had the opportunity to become a Yonko, but decided against doing so. Mihawk's bounty is only based on his individual strength. Contrary to popular belief, bounties do not represent a character's strength on power level. The reward's value depends primarily on the transgressions committed against the world government rather than just the recipient's fighting prowess. Characters frequently receive less of a prize than they should in light of their specific strengths, or even the opposite. Hence, rewards are not intended to be power levels. They are far stronger arguments to support beliefs about the series' power scaling in feats, remarks, and depictions. Yet, it should be intriguing to contrast the author's distribution of Mihawk's bounty, 3,590,000,000 berries, with Shanks' 4,048,900,000 berries. Since Shanks and Mihawk are so close together, it's amazing that Mihawk has a bounty. The latter is one of the 4 emperors and the leader of a team that includes several powerful people, including Lucky Roo, Yasop, and Ben Beckman, who serves as his right-hand man. One of Shanks' motivations for the bounty was that he had such an extraordinarily strong crew at his disposal. In contrast, Mihawk has always been a lone wolf, traveling alone with much less powerful companions until the recent founding of Cross Guild. Shanks' bounty has been greatly increased by the simple fact that he is a Yonko. In fact, a person's bounty increases substantially when they are designated as one of the 4 emperors. Kaido and Big Mama haven't seen one another in years, and emperors battling each other is uncommon. Whitebeard claimed that he hadn't heard the name Shanks in a while. This indicates that Shanks' fight with Mihawk account for most of his fame as a fighter. Despite not being an emperor and having no crew, much less a very powerful one, Mihawk has a somewhat lesser bounty than Shanks, 3.6 billion berries compared to 4 billion berries. None of these factors inflate Mihawk's bounty. As the world's strongest swordsman and a combatant even more powerful than Shanks, he was solely given it for his incredible strength. As the world's strongest swordsman, Mihawk surpasses even Shanks. No comment in the series to this day elevates Shanks above Mihawk, but a few explicitly indicate the reverse. Mihawk is stronger than Shanks because the former is a swordsman and the latter is the world's strongest swordsman. They are likely quite close in strength, and the gap may be very small to be regarded as equals, yet if one of them is more powerful than the other, that's Mihawk. That is exactly what was said. Mihawk's visit to Shanks in his own area and in front of his own crew, calling him harshly one-armed has-been, may be a narrative cue to his superiority. Neither Shanks nor any of his crew members did anything to defend themselves. Mihawk's appearance intimidates the less capable crew members. It is telling that not even Ben Beckman tried to trash-talk Mihawk in response. This scene is significant because it introduces one of the fundamental facets of Mihawk's personality. As Shanks has lost an arm, no swordsman is strong enough to offer him a legitimately hard duel, though he sits alone at the top, suffering from success. This idea was emphasized right from the start of the narrative when a disinterested Mihawk experienced excitement once more due to Zoro's remarkable, once-in-a-lifetime potential. Mihawk realized that Zoro is the only swordsman who might be able to outperform him. One Piece chapter 1058 reiterated Mihawk's supremacy over Shanks by textually stating that the former is a better swordsman. Some fans attempted to refute the notion that Haki is not a skilled swordsman, claiming that Mihawk is a better swordsman, but Shanks is more powerful overall. This reasoning, however, appears to be wholly unsound. Swordsmanship is not only founded on Haki, but it also includes it. Zoro's journey throughout the series serves as the strongest proof of this. The majority of Zoro's abilities and skills are solely dependent on Haki. Most of Zoro's development as a swordsman involves him learning or perfecting his Haki. This includes cutting steel, employing armament hardening, mastering Enma, learning the King of Hell style, and obtaining a black blade. Given that Shanks has been referred to as a swordsman numerous times throughout the series and has used his griffin sword in every combat scenario he has been a part of, there is no reason to believe that Shanks can't be called a swordsman despite using Haki cannonades and barriers, as well as Conqueror's Haki bursts. Mihawk's true power is reserved for One Piece's endgame. Oda has only provided a brief peek of Mihawk's potential up to this point. The manga has yet to reveal the world's strongest swordsman's true power. Yet, this only makes him more remarkable. Even one of Mihawk's most careless attacks, a nameless slash, released enough force to split an iceberg the size of a mountain in half. Characters like Zoro and Law, who had just exited the time skip, needed to exert considerably more effort and use some of their best methods to chop a mountain-sized region. This sheds light on how terrifying Mihawk's actual capabilities might be. Oden Kozuki, a swordsman from Wano, was highly regarded by Kaido, one of the 4 emperors, and the guy known as the world's strongest monster. Oden was able to seriously harm Kaido during a tense encounter, leaving the latter with a scar. Oden was a very famous samurai who made his name sailing with Whitebeard and Gold D. Roger. Still, despite such a remarkable achievement, which left an imprint on Kaido both physically and emotionally, he was never acknowledged as the world's greatest swordsman during his lifetime. Despite his popularity and power, Oden's reputation for strength didn't even come close to that of Mihawk. Even Zoro, who is able to repeat Oden's achievement, is still a long way from being on par with the world's strongest swordsman. Well, that's it for today. What are your thoughts on the matter? Who do you think would win in a fight? Please share with us in the comments below. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe.